Codex Gigas, also known as the Devil's Bible.
Once upon a time, there was a monk called Herman the Recluse.
Tahle kopie je to trošku náhoda, ale my jsme to uspořádali k týdnu knihu.
That's a lot. That's a very big book. It takes at least 2 people to move that thing.
The excitement and sense of discovery that Freer had when he first saw these manuscripts. And you can just imagine
opening a giant medieval book and suddenly coming face to face with a terrifying portrait of the devil. Not a small drawing, but a massive full-page image staring straight at you. This mysterious manuscript is called the Codex Gigas, also known as the Devil's Bible, and its story is stranger than fiction, the giant book that shouldn't exist. Deep inside the National Library of Sweden in Stockholm sits one of the most mysterious books ever created in human history. It is called the Codex Gigas, a name that literally means giant book, and the name is not an exaggeration. This manuscript is the largest surviving medieval manuscript ever discovered. When people see it in person, the first reaction is usually shock. The book stands about 92 centimeters tall, around 50 centimeters wide, and nearly 22 centimeters thick. Instead of looking like a normal book, it looks more like a piece of ancient furniture. But the size is only the beginning. The Codex Gigas weighs around 165 pounds. That means lifting it is like picking up a heavy piece of gym equipment. Even turning a single page requires effort. The cover is made from thick wooden boards wrapped in leather, reinforced with metal guards and decorative fittings. This design was meant to protect the manuscript for centuries, and clearly it worked. Inside the book are 310 enormous pages made from vellum. Historians believe the material likely came from the skins of around 160 donkeys, or possibly calves. Altogether, the pages cover more than 1,500 square feet of writing surface. What makes the manuscript even more mysterious is its consistency. Every line of text looks almost identical. The handwriting does not change from the beginning to the end of the book. The ink remains steady, and the writing style never shows signs of fatigue. For historians, that consistency created one of the greatest mysteries surrounding the Codex Gigas. More than just a Bible. At first glance, the Codex Gigas looks like a huge medieval Bible, and in many ways it is. The manuscript contains the complete Latin Bible, written in the Vulgate version. The Old Testament begins with Genesis and continues through many traditional biblical books, although the very first page of Genesis is missing today, suggesting some pages were removed long ago. But the Codex Gigas was never meant to be only a religious book. It was created more like a medieval library inside a single volume. The manuscript includes historical works by Flavius Josephus, including antiquities of the Jews and the Jewish War. It also contains the famous encyclopedia Etymologiae, written by Isidore of Seville. Medical knowledge appears as well, including texts from the Ars Medicinae collection and writings by Constantine the African. Near the end is Chronica Bohemorum by Cosmas of Prague, which records early Bohemian history. Alongside these are prayers, calendars, monastery records, magical formulas, and exorcism charms, making the book a complete collection of medieval knowledge. The terrifying devil portrait. While the contents of the book are fascinating, one image made the Codex Gigas famous across the world. On one page appears a massive full-page painting of the devil. The image stands nearly 50 centimeters tall and dominates the entire page. The figure is shown crouching, facing directly toward the viewer, with raised arms and an unsettling posture. The devil's body has human proportions, but disturbing details make the image unforgettable. His hands and feet end in claws with only 4 fingers and 4 toes each. 2 large red horns grow from his head. His face is dark green with wide eyes and red pupils staring forward. His ears are large and red-tipped. His mouth is open, revealing small white teeth, and 2 long red tongues stretch out from the corners of his mouth. Those double tongues represent the forked tongue of a serpent, a symbol often associated with Satan in Christian imagery. Directly opposite this frightening image appears another full-page illustration showing the heavenly city. The 2 images were placed intentionally side by side, representing the eternal contrast between heaven and hell, good and evil. Over the centuries, readers repeatedly opened the manuscript to look at the devil portrait. Because of this, the surrounding parchment became darker than the rest of the book due to exposure to light. Even today, that section of the manuscript feels eerie and mysterious.
Transition from being a sort of underground cult religion to being a normative religion, and so it was at the very moment that these texts...
The dark legend behind the book, the Codex Gigas, would already be remarkable because of its size and contents. But what truly turned it into legend was the story about how it was created. According to medieval folklore, the manuscript was written by a monk named Herman the Recluse. He lived in a Benedictine monastery in Bohemia, in what is now the modern-day Czech Republic. The legend claims Herman broke his monastic vows and committed a serious offense. As punishment, the monastery sentenced him to a brutal fate. He would be sealed alive inside a wall. Desperate to escape death, Herman begged the monks for one final chance. He promised to create a book that would bring eternal fame and glory to the monastery, but he made an impossible promise. He claimed he would finish the entire manuscript in a single night and fill it with all human knowledge. The monks agreed. As midnight passed, Herman realized the task was impossible. The manuscript was far too large to complete before sunrise. Facing certain death, he supposedly turned to a forbidden solution. According to the legend, Herman prayed to Lucifer and offered his soul in exchange for help finishing the book. The devil accepted the deal and completed the manuscript before morning. As a tribute, Herman added the terrifying portrait of the devil to the pages of the book. That is how the Codex Gigas supposedly became known as the Devil's Bible, the truth behind the mystery. As dramatic as the legend sounds, historians today believe the real story is different. Handwriting analysis shows the entire manuscript was written in a single consistent style, which strongly suggests that one person did indeed write the entire book. However, experts estimate that writing such a massive manuscript would have taken at least 20 to 30 years of careful work. But the idea that one person could produce such a massive, nearly error-free manuscript over decades still feels extraordinary. The Devil's Bible today the Codex Gigas remains preserved inside the National Library of Sweden in Stockholm. Scholars continue studying the manuscript, and digital versions allow people around the world to explore its pages online. After more than 800 years, the book still fascinates historians, researchers, and curious readers. Was it simply the work of an incredibly dedicated monk? One thing is certain. The Codex Gigas remains one of the most mysterious books ever created.
I think the main techniques that have been used to date these have been based on looking at the style of script and writing.
If you opened a book and saw a giant portrait of the devil staring back at you, would you keep reading? Let me know what you think in the comments below.